Hello everyone, my name is Morgan Schramm. I'm coming to you today from Portland, Oregon. And for my third assignment, I wanted to go over the concept of buses, rerouting, sends in the context of Ableton Live. And so I'm going to give you a few examples of how that works in Live. I have Live set up here. I am in the session view, and I will be working exclusively in the session view today to show you these concepts. Ableton Live, at least to my understanding, doesn't really have buses. What you can do in Ableton Live is you can reroute any track into other tracks and essentially use that as a bus. So I'm going to give you an example of that here. So here I have a couple of different tracks. I have one over here that's empty. I have some clips. These are just regular audio clips loaded into these. Here, I'll give you a listen on these. So there's one clip, and here's another clip. Now let's say I wanted to create a new clip that was actually the combination of those two clips together. So you could think of this kind of as bouncing or bouncing in place. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to reroute these two tracks into this third track called Bounce Drums that I've previously created. So I take the audio out and I put that into this track over here called Bounce Drums. I make sure that my recording on this new track is armed. And then what I can do is I can go ahead and start playing both of these clips together, and then I'll click record on the bounce drums, and that will start to record it. I'll go ahead and stop everything. Then we'll take a look at this new track that I just recorded, or this new clip. So it should be the combination of those other two, and so it is. Now, one thing about this track that's a little bit funky and maybe not the way I'd want it is if you look at these two tracks, each of these are both 1 measure long. And so my new bounce track was just as long as I kept recording, which looks like it's about 3 measures long. And so I can just fix that really easily by taking this down and making that 1 measure long. So now we'll listen to it. So there it is. So, and then once we have this new clip, you know, we can just do whatever we want with this clip and kind of put it in anywhere. So that's kind of an example of rerouting, similar to the way that you might use buses in a separate DAW. One thing to remember is after you finish kind of doing that rerouting, you probably want to set this all back to master. That's come back to bite me a couple times in the past. I wanted to show you how sends work now in Ableton, and the way it's set up in Ableton is each track has 2 different send faders, and these go into 2 dedicated sort of return tracks over here. So the first thing you have to do when you set up a send is you have to right click, and then you can enable send or enable all sends. And then this is the fader right here. So right now I would be sending 0 amplitude into this return track over here. But let's go ahead and we'll send 100% amplitude into here. Here's the clip I'm working with, so you can listen to what that sounds like. And so you can see, you saw that it was kind of bouncing over here, so we know that the return track was receiving it. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take, and inside this return track, I'm going to put an effect, a reverb effect, put this one called Cathedral in here. So, and then we'll go ahead and play this again. So you can hear that reverb in there. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to solo this out, so all we hear is the reverb over here. One thing to note is that on my sends I've enabled both of these as pre-fader sends, and so here's that effect that I dropped in, and then here is the dry wet control, so you can see if I go all the way back down to dry, then I get my original signal there, and I can kind of change, you know, how much reverb I want in the end result there. So this is just the return track by itself. I'll go ahead and click that off, and then there's the return track along with the original. And so, depending on how much reverb you want in there, you can change that. All right, thanks a lot.